Good morning, Flosstube. My name is Laura, and I'd like to welcome you to my channel, Stitching by the Shore. If you've come back for the third video, thank you for coming back, and welcome if you are new to my station. Let me fix my sweater. It's a little bit droopy. First off, I wanted to say a very happy birthday to all of the leap year babies out there. My stepdad was a leap year baby, and I remember that my mom used to do a special party when his birthday actually came around, and always something a little extra special since you guys get gypped on your birthday most years. So I want to wish you a very special day tomorrow. It's fun that it's on a Saturday. I hope you have a lot of fun plans, and I hope you have a good time, and just want to wish you an extra special day, and I hope you enjoy yourself. Alrighty, so last week I asked about Colonial knots versus French knots, and threads all over. Thank you so much for your response. You suggested Mary Corbett videos, which most of you in the world of stitching probably know about because she has a lot of them and a lot of subscribers, but I had no clue she existed. So I want to thank you for that suggestion. I went and I watched her video on Colonial knots. It looks easy. Of course, I'm going to keep it running as I try a knot. I have not tried that yet, but thank you, because I wasn't sure. And it looked like she explained it well. She showed it well, and she did it a few times in the video, so you wouldn't have to keep stopping and starting again, because you could keep watching it a bunch of times as she went through the knot. So thank you very much. And a quick thank you to Joe for the shout out. I really appreciate that. I'm so new that anytime you shout out and suggest me, that is fantastic, because I get to meet new people from all other places. So thank you. I have a finish, a bunch of finishes of different levels, but I thought one of the things that I would do too, because I am not out of the crafty world besides stitching, is every once in a while I would show you some other stuff. Now, right now, we are smack dab in St. Patrick's season. Yes, I know it's a few weeks away, but when you own an online shop, people usually have to shop way in advance. And it's funny because a lot of holidays people don't always send cards for, but I don't know what it is about St. Patrick's Day. People like to send cards. So I've been in the studio a lot, meaning I don't get as much stitching time, working on different orders for. They've all been St. Patrick's Day actually coming in lately. So I thought I'd show you one. And this is going to give you a little peek into my overall style. When I started stamping and doing other crafting, especially when my kids were little, I was a certain style. And as I got older, you'll notice it's a little simpler. And I like it. I like the clean lines. I like the open space, negative space, whatever the artsy word is for it. So that's what you will see eventually, and a lot more of my stitching when I get finishes done too. So this is one of the St. Patrick's Day cards that are flying all over the country. It's got a quick saying, "May your blessings outnumber the shamrocks that grow, and may trouble avoid you wherever you go." So that was stamped, and then I had a great shamrock die cut. And you'll notice I love the white space, one layer of one color, and then the base. So that may be a little bit of foreshadowing where my stitching finishes may go to. So that has been keeping me busy this week, as well as my stitching. But I do, exciting, have an FFO. I have a fully finished object. I'm not ever sure I told you, I have two kids. My daughter is a freshman in college, and my son is a junior in high school. And they really never wanted to do a lot of crafty stuff. Yes, they would do something for Christmas to put on the tree. We have a ton of kids decorated ornaments. Usually it was me that got things rolling on that because I wanted something cutesy for the tree each year. And they've been great making me cards or whatever for Mother's Day or my birthday. But they really never got into the stamping or the scrapbooking or all that kind of stuff. I have every type of supply you could think of, and they just never really got into it. So over Christmas break, when my daughter was home from college, she asked me if I could teach her how to stitch. And after doing a little jig inside, I said, sure. So I tried to find something that was easy and would be interesting to her, because if it was something that she didn't care about stitching, she would never finish it. So her and a friend of hers have this running joke about dinosaurs. I don't know exactly what, but I said, you know what, I'm gonna find her a dinosaur that looks like the ones that they draw, and so on and so forth. So this is a free pattern I found, legitimately free. It was not a stolen free. And I honestly don't know the website. I grabbed it online, printed it off for her, and I don't have a page cover to show you because it was so bare bones. It was just the pattern itself, but very simple. And here's her stitching. We picked colors that were similar to the colors that her dinosaur had. All DMC, 14 count white Aida. She picked it up really easy. In fact, here the leg was a little different. She's like, I don't like how that looks. I'm gonna switch it. I think it looks cute. She didn't finish it before it was time to go back to school, so she took it back with her. And I hadn't taught her the back stitching for the eye yet. So when she gave it to me, she's like, I saw there was some lines around the eye. I'm like, oh yeah, that's back stitching. You taught yourself. She's like, I don't know what it was. I just did the thread around it. So she did back stitching without even realizing it. So last week we went to visit her. She is a college athlete, and this season she's playing lacrosse. And so the season started last Saturday, so we took a ride to Pennsylvania and watched her first game. And she gave me this piece, and I thought, I want to finish it for her so that she can put it up in her room and decorate her room and remind herself of her stitching. This green fabric is just one of those, I don't know, 18 by 21 things you get at Walmart for like 99 cents. And then this is actually upside down. It came like this from Home Goods, and it says Happy Easter on it, and I think it has an Easter bunny. So I was shopping yesterday wanting to finish this off, and I saw that. And originally I was going to paint the bottom and make it all white because I couldn't find just a white little cube. I looked at Michael's, they had nothing. Home Goods, this was as close as I could get size-wise. And then when I placed the dinosaur on it, I kind of liked, it was almost like he's on grass. So I kept it like that. Sent her a picture. She loves it. That's what counts. So she has another game tomorrow. So we will be heading back to Pennsylvania, and she will get her dinosaur right away so she can put that in her room. The next finish I have, I'm calling it an FO and a half. It is sort of fully finished, but I'm not sure. You would call it probably not fully finished because it's only 2 layers. It's not on something, but I don't know if I'm gonna do anything more with it. I kind of like it. So this is my pumpkin. Remember I showed you this as one of my finishes when I first started, and it is just 14 count Aida DMC colors. I found this fabric yesterday at Michael's. You know Michael's doesn't have much for fabric. I was in the stitching section, and across the aisle they called it fabric tissue. I'm not sure why it's called fabric tissue, but I saw that and I said, you know what? That would look good with my pumpkin, or I thought it would. So I brought it home. I laid it down. I'm like, I like that because it kind of brings out the darker color of the orange in the pumpkin. So when I was getting ready for the video, and I did this yesterday, and then I plopped it on my mantle that you see right there, so that I would know where it was when I went to tape this morning. And I just leaned it up against the mantle, and I was kind of like, it's kind of cute like that. Because remember, go back to the fact that I like simple finishes, not frou-frou. And don't get me wrong, I love a bow as much as the next girl, but only infrequently, not on a regular basis. So I looked at this and I said, you know, it might not be bad just like this. I can put it in a bunch of different places just as is. I would have to finish the back. The back is not finished yet, so I would stick a little bit of felt on there and we'd be good to go. So I don't know. That's why I'm calling it an FO and a half, because it may be fully finished or it may not be. Maybe as it gets closer to the autumn season, I'll look and see if there's anything that jumps out at me. But if not, this one is good to go. And then I have a just stitchy finish that I have not done anything with. In fact, I have no clue what I'm doing with it. It's the Plum Street Samplers Country Winter. So I've seen this on 1-2-3 Stitch as a popular pattern, but I haven't seen it stitched by a lot of people if I'm looking at people's whips on different floss tubes. So I'm not sure who's stitching it, but somebody is. And here's the finish. This was done on 18 count Confederate gray with all the color called for DMCs. I have to admit, when I pulled the DMCs from the color conversion and I looked at the skeins, I was kind of like, oh no, especially like this green of the trees. But I said, let's give it a try. And I stitched it up, and I like it. I like the colors. It works for me. I have no idea what I'm doing with this one. This is going into the yay, I completed, but don't know what to do with pile. Now, the one thing that is different on this, because the sample is done on a 36 count, and of course it's over 2, I think it was 1/2 they recommended, was on this little snowman, you'll see he's holding like a little quilt square. And on the pattern itself, the actual design, they tell you to stitch that over 1 rather than over 2. Well, obviously on 18 count, that's not happening. So I figured I would do the snowman and see what it looks like. And honestly, he's close enough to the edge that you wouldn't even know he's missing anything. I don't think he needs a quilt square in the middle of the yard in winter. He wouldn't really be holding that. So I'm good with the way he is. I had to adjust his little stick fingers a little bit because, again, they were charting it for linen. So I did that, and he's good to go. So that is completely finished and put in the finish pile. Exciting. I do have some whips. Even though we went away over the weekend, I was able to take some stitching with me. I don't always stitch in the car because I can't always. I did a little bit, except on the way home. I made the mistake of trying to stitch on the Sawmill Parkway, for those of you who live in New York. I don't know what I was thinking. I mean, the road basically twists and turns for the entire length of it, so I was getting a little seasick almost. So not happening again on the Sawmill, I can tell you that. New Jersey Turnpike, I think we're okay. Sawmill, not so much. I have 4 whips, and they are all continuations of ones that you have seen before. I did not start anything new this week. Surprisingly, I said, you know what, I'm just gonna stick with my whips, and that's what I did. So first off, we have Carriage House Samplings, Comfort Lighthouse. You've seen this one before. So I had the lighthouse done, and basically the little ground underneath it, and that was it. And I couldn't decide which was the next part I wanted to stitch. So this is what we have so far. I love it from a distance. That darker blue on the lighthouse looks like a shadow, which is really kind of cool. I had started underneath the lighthouse, and I don't know, that white's supposed to be water, I think. I wasn't really loving that. So then I jumped to the stars and the moon. And then I finished that. I said, let's do some more. So I did the fish and the anchor as well. I think my next goal for this week will be the crab. And then I'll slowly work my way from there, house being next. There is on the bottom, if you notice, a layer of that white, I don't know, again, water. I'm not really loving stitching that, so I may or may not do that part. I think what I'll do is I'll stitch everything else, and then I will decide if I really want to. If it looks incomplete or whatever, yes, I will do it. But if not, I think I will just keep it the way it is. Artistic license, right? My next whip is, if I can get this and put it aside, is the July Cottage from Cottage Needleworks. I love this one. I thought I'd get farther. I thought I'd get the house done. I almost got the house done. This is on 18 count, and remember, it's the flip side. This is the right side of the vintage country mocha. This is the flip side of that. So I just have a little bit left of the house here, and then inside the the windows. I think this week my plan, I'd like to get the flag, the flower, and the little bird bath. Hopefully. I think I might bring this one with me to Pennsylvania. It's a small one, it's an easy one, and I'm enjoying the stitch, so I think it would be fun to stitch. All right, next. This one I'm not bringing. Well, I had a problem with one of the sections, so this is why I'm not enjoying it so much. Summer ABCs, Little House Needleworks. Now, last week it faked me out because I did just some of the letters. I was like, oh, everybody says this is an easy stitch, and they're right. It's quick, no problem. And then I got to, by C, there are branches. This little leaf, I had to stitch 3 times. And it was because I had messed up here, and so I had to pull that out. And then that got put aside, and then I felt bad. I hadn't done much of it. I had neglected it, so I stitched some more. Once I got by that branch and the leaves, I was enjoying it a little bit more. By the time I got to fireflies, though, I said, that's it. I'm done for the week. So the only thing I have left here is just some back stitch so that I can attach the quilt to its whatever that is. But I'll do that probably at the end. I would probably this week try to get through ice cream right here. It's not a huge amount. I think there's a big flower thing here and some more writing. If I get that far without wanting to throw this one out the window because I make counting mistakes, then maybe I'll work my way down. But that's the plan on this. Little doses of this one I think I will enjoy much more than trying to get the whole thing done as soon as possible. And the last of my whips is Christmas Rules by Lizzie Kate. So last week I had to do no pouting. Now, every other square has these boxes around them. I thought this was going to be a quick square, but those boxes take forever. I mean, it's easy. I can watch TV or something and just stitch the box, but it takes forever. But I did get it finished. So this is the entire, and then if we get closer, there's no pouting. Now here, there's supposed to be a button. That little red piece is supposed to be a red button with the holly. You know how I feel about the buttons with this one. So I took an example from the holly here, and I stuck it down there with a red button. And honestly, I don't think you're gonna be able to tell the difference. I like how it came out. I had done the green holly first. If I would redo it, I would have moved this green over one section, but I don't know if I'm really invested enough to rip that out and go with the restitch. I think it's fine. The next one is keep the schedule light, except for a lot of white on the sheep. I think this one will go quick. There's no box, so I don't have to do a box around it. So I think that'll make it faster. Not doing the buttons, I know that for a fact, especially when they're just thrown around pattern-wise, as opposed to being in a specific spot. So far, there's nothing that I haven't been able to get around with the buttons. We'll see. That may change, obviously, if as I go along. I really haven't looked. I have all the patterns. I haven't looked at them close enough to know if I'm going to have to make any adjustments. And that's it for my whips this week. I'm going to continue with those 4 whips and potentially start. I'm not sure on that yet. We will see. I do have some shopping that I did this week. Yesterday, I went to Michael's to look for something to finish Megan's piece. I couldn't find anything. I thought in their spring section they might have some little white blocks. Nothing. Everything was big. But of course, you know, you can't go away from Michael's without anything. I did pick up, so this is the orange 18 by 21 fabric tissue. Well, it's not really a square, but I'll call it a square, that I used for my pumpkin. And then, I don't know what I'm using this for, but look at those grays. I thought this would be a great background for something Halloween-y, or somewhere along those lines. I think it would contrast with a lot of things really nicely. So I picked up one of those as well. I got it on Michael's with the use of a coupon. And one other thing I bought for under 10 bucks. These were $1.57 each. So, you know, I really can't go wrong giving them a try. And yes, they're not as soft as homespun or anything like that, but I don't sew, so I don't have a lot of extra fabric. So these kinds of things are useful for me so that I can get my finishes done. FOs and a half, almost finished. Other than that, I got here's my big piece of the shale. So I'm hoping that I can start my Halloween piece. This is 18 count Ada. And I saw a lot of people talking about, I've never used Anchor, but I had floss, but I heard a lot of people talk about how they liked the coverage of black Anchor versus 310. So I ordered some of those. It was not in stock. I asked 123 Stitch to email me when they got some more in stock, and I got the email, and literally I think within an hour I placed my order. So I couldn't just get fabric and Anchor. I had to buy a few more things, but I didn't go crazy. So there's not a ton here, thank goodness. I did want to try, oh, and this is Picture This Plus, by the way, this shell. This is also Picture This Plus. It's an 18 count. It's called Jade. I love it. No idea what I'm using it for. If I had a really good St. Patrick's Day pattern, this would be cute. But I have nothing for St. Patrick's Day. So that will go in the, I'm not sure what I'm doing with pile, but I love it. And then just some housekeeping. I picked up some navy Ada. I was watching, I don't know who it was. Somebody had posted a finish of Santa and his sleigh, one of those patterns, and they'd done it on navy instead of the called for black. And I loved it. It looked like the night sky that Santa was flying against. And ironically, I had that pattern. I started it in black, but I miscounted somewhere. And then I kept going, not realizing it. But there's a whole thing that's off. So I hadn't gotten too far with it. So I pretty much decided I was gonna ditch that and start again. So I think I'm gonna use the navy instead on that one. And then because I use so much of the vintage Country Mocha, I picked up some more of that 18 count of that. I didn't buy a lot of patterns. Remember I talked about Market and was I gonna pre-order? I actually was really good. I did not pre-order anything yet. I've got things that I'm favorited and I'm watching and all that kind of stuff, but I think I'm gonna wait. There's a couple of videos I wanna watch on Flosstube and a few different things of things coming out, and then as Market goes on, I'll be able to see everything coming out, and then I'll place some orders, I think. But what I did get was from Waxy Moon Design. I got Easter House Trio, and I thought as soon as I pulled this out and I had the Jade, wouldn't that be cute on this? One of the, like the houses on the green, the whole Eastery theme, because this is definitely could go for Easter. I don't know if I'm gonna do any Easter stitching. We have, what? Well, 6 weeks, right? We just had Ash Wednesday. So we have, what, 6 weeks to Easter? So I could do something, maybe. I have to see what I need for floss, but that's an option. I do like the idea of it on this color fabric. I thought that would be cute. Then I've seen this a few times, and I originally couldn't find it on 123 Stitch, and then they put it on there. It's a Lizzie Kate. Dear Santa, I've been good. I think that is so cute. I love that saying, the whole thing that it goes through. So again, I put it on my wish list, and when I ordered the Anchor, I saw that it was in. So I said, that's it. That's going into my cart. So I did get that. I have never tried anything from Artful Offerings, which is the next pattern. I don't know if something came out on 123 Stitch, and I thought it was cute. I said, oh, let me go to their section. I saw this little guy, Sprightly Snowman. I thought he'd be cute. I love stitching snowmen. Santa and his reindeer, which I have about 6 patterns of. So once I get them all stitched, what I'm doing with all of them, I have no idea. I just like stitching Santa and his reindeer. But I love snowmen too. So I had to get him. I thought he was cute. And he'd be a pretty quick stitch. Then I got from Prairie Schooler, Village Sampler. I love the Prairie Schooler villages. I started, it's harvest, I don't know, it's something around Thanksgiving, and there's leaves and pumpkins and all that. And I put it aside for the moment, but I like it. And I like their different villages. I do have their Christmas one, the ski thing, which I really want to try. And then, so I saw this one and I picked it up. I thought it was cute. Again, no clue what I'll do with it when it's stitched, but it's the journey. That's what I'm enjoying, is the journey part of the stitching. And then lastly, Tiny Modernist. I talked about how much I enjoyed her Halloween, it was the calendar. So I picked up another one. This was in my wish list too, Summer Signs. I think I'm gonna do this one first. Life is better at the beach, always better at the beach. These will be quick. I really like, they're done on like a white, and I really like that. I like how the colors pop, but I don't know, I'm not sure. I'll have to look around and see if anybody has stitched them on any other colors, just to give me a point of reference. But I am liking the white, so that most definitely might be where I go. And that leads me into plans. This is in the pile of maybe my next stitch. I don't know yet. I just have to decide on fabric, and then I'm sure there's not a lot of floss that's needed. So, and it's all the like 9 for all 4 signs. So that would be an easy pickup to get. And then I would just have it for any of the signs that I wanted to do. So that's a possibility of a new start. Then, because I got my shale fabric, remember my Halloween sampler from Cottage Garden? I love that. I think I want to do it on this. I just want to lay the oranges on it just to make sure I'm okay with that color. I think the black would look really nice against here. There's black and like a gray. I think a little, no, there's no purple. Not really. But I just want to make sure the orange will work. So that is definitely with that and my anchor. That one's just about ready to go if I can just decide that, yes, this is what I want to do on that. So that could be my next start. And the last one again is a fabric decision I have to make. I have been watching, catching up on, because I'm still finding new Flosstubers all the time. Nick Stitches, she's hilarious. I love her. And I've been following along. She's been stitching Suffrage Act by Little House Needleworks. And I really like what her, each week, you know, I've been seeing in different videos, it coming along, and it looks great. So I guess this is a Sal. I didn't realize that. I'm completely unaware of that, but with the idea of getting it finished by Election Day in November, so it's a doable Sal. I have no idea what fabric I want to do that on. I'm not sure, but I really like how hers is stitching up. She hates the fabric she's using, so I will not be using her choice, but there's lots of choices, and maybe I don't know. I will grab a few things maybe and put once I get the floss, I throw the floss up against the fabrics and see what looks good, and that's generally what makes my decision for me. I'm used to, with all the stamping I would take inks and the cardstocks and put it all together. So that's my artistic way of doing something. And so if I start with the actual threads, then the fabric comes next, and I decide what looks good and what doesn't. And that's usually my process for that. So that is definitely on the list of starts, hopefully sooner rather than later. And that's all I have for you today. We are again traveling to Pennsylvania tomorrow. I think it's going to be really cold and really windy, so I will be really, really, really bundled up. Last Saturday it was sunny and windy, but high 40s and still cold. I think it's going to be a lot cooler temperatures tomorrow, so I think I will be really bundled up, and hopefully I can get some stitching done at the hotel, if not car stitching, and that's about it. I hope you have a great week. I hope the leap year babies have a fantastic birthday. And until I see you next time, happy stitching. Bye.